With me now is Steve Siedlecki, the Executive Director of A Christmas Story House and Museum set up in Ohio, an amazing tribute to a film that many of us just love and adore. It's celebrating the 30th anniversary. How are you doing, Steve?
Doing good, thank you.
Fantastic. Let's start with our listeners and our readers that give them an update on how the house kind of came into being that property, how before the renovation, how it even kind of came about several years ago.
Well, Brian Jones, the owner, initially his plans were to be a fighter pilot in the Navy. However, he failed the eye exam, and so his parents, as kind of a consolation gift, decided that they would make him his very own leg lamp. The movie was a holiday favorite for the movie, for the family, and so they thought it would be nice to cheer him up with that. So they went to the garment district in L.A. and picked up the leg and the stockings, all this other stuff, and his dad did the wiring for the lamp, and they sent it to him, and he put it up in his room and absolutely loved it. And so did other people. Everybody kept on asking, "Where'd you get the lamp? Can I get one? Where can I get one?" And so he was kind of, he didn't get what he wanted to do. So he wasn't being a pilot. So he was doing some other work for the Navy. And he's like, if a lot of people are asking for these leg lamps, maybe I can make these lamps and sell them. So that's what he started doing in his living room. And the first year sold about 800 or so lamps.
Wow.
The following year, he had them started more professionally made, and sold enough that year to then purchase the house, which he found on, his wife found on eBay, and it was on eBay for $99.9, and when he saw that, it just kind of clicked. He had over the past couple of years sold close to 2,000 lamps. He figured if this many people are wanting to buy lamps, maybe that many people or more would want to go see the house. And then if they go see the house, they'll want to then also buy a lamp while they're there. So, from a business sense, everything kind of added up. So, he called up the owners of the house and told me he saw their listing, and if he were to offer $150, if they would remove the bidding, they would stop the bidding right then and there. So, he called them up, they accepted, and he came here to check out what he had. And unfortunately, the house had gone through a lot of changes. They were trying to get modernized. They tried to use it as a rental unit, so it was not quite what you saw in the movie. It had blue vinyl siding on it. It had updated windows. The upstairs was partially in the middle of a renovation. It was down to the studs, and they just ran out of money, so that's why they decided to try and sell it. So the house needed a lot of work. In addition to the $150 he paid, Brian put in another $240,000 to renovate it, going frame by frame to try and make the inside look as it did in the movie.
There's a lot. I'm sorry, let me interrupt you real quick here, folks. If you go to the website, you'll be able to see a lot of the photos. You have a lot of retro photos that show the renovation process and all that. I think it's just a great story. It's a backstory to this house. So go ahead. I just wanted to throw that in real quick.
And then we later added on the museum across the street, and then also a gift shop across the street. So total of 3 buildings down here over the past 7 years. We've put probably a good $1 million worth of home purchases and renovations into the neighborhood here to offer this movie played up to fans of the movie.
And this year is the 30th anniversary of the movie. You've had a ton of 30th anniversary events throughout the year. Give people a couple highlights of some of the best events.
We are having a run tomorrow, this weekend, on December 7th. Is a 5 and 10K run, which benefits the neighborhood here. We set up a Christmas Story house renovation project. And the idea is, we've been here 7 years. We bring in 40,000 people a year. So, we kind of disrupted the normalcy of the neighborhood in some sense, especially in the month of November, December. We bring a lot of people in through here, and I know a lot of the neighbors, sometimes they're agitated, others love it, and so, but, if not for them, we wouldn't be, here, because, we definitely needed their approval to move forward with all of our projects. So we wanted to, be able to do something where we can finally start to give back to the neighborhood. And so we set up this race that'll benefit some of the houses around here. If people can't afford to do a paint job, or they can't afford to do a little bit of landscaping, or their roof, whatever, this money that we're raising will go into a fund that can either pay for these projects or help them pay for the project. So that's a great thing that we have going. So that'll happen tomorrow, December 7th, and hopefully everybody will have a lot of fun. There's plans with people running in costumes, leg lamps, and all kinds of other stuff. So it should be a fun run for a good cause. Also, over Thanksgiving weekend, we had a convention where some of the actors were back in town. Flick, Randy, Scott Farkas, Grover Dill, and the two elves. They were all back in town to celebrate with the fans the 30th anniversary of the movie. And they had a meet and greet, so you can meet the actors, get some autographs, get your pictures taken. They always have a lot of cool merchandise they sign, from BB guns to just regular pictures and other fun little items that you can get from them. And then we also, at that convention, had a luncheon, which also then benefited the neighborhood project that we have set up. And that was Mrs. Parker's Little Piggy luncheon. So it was mashed potatoes, meatloaf, red cabbage type lunch. And it was a little more of an intimate setting. I think there was something like around 200 seats or so. And you can then have lunch with the actors there in the ballroom that we use at the hotel, and get your pictures taken with them. They were going around mingling with the people. So rather than being like a couple thousand people, in line, this was a lot smaller setting, a couple hundred people. So people can really, have a little more intimate experience and enjoy, the time with the actors.
And there's some great photos, again, on this website. We'll give the website address out real quick before we move on.
The website's ChristmasStoryHouse.com.
Okay.
So you can go on there. You can see a lot of the events that we had, a lot of pictures from the stuff that we just did and everything.
Steve, how on earth did you, I'm going to assume you're a fan of the movie, but how on earth did you end up as the executive director of this facility?
It was actually just a random email I sent off to Brian. You said I've always been a fan of the movie, and it's actually I actually kind of enjoyed it because my family, they grew up in this neighborhood. So I've always been familiar with it being the Christmas Story house. Even when it had the blue vinyl siding on it, I always knew it was the house. So that was always kind of fun, coming down to see, my aunts and whatever, and driving by the house. So I've always known it was the house. And so when Brian decided to purchase the house, there was an article that ran in the Cleveland Plain Dealer back in 2005 that, it said that he had purchased the house and planned to turn it into a museum. So I thought it was a great idea. I was working at the Western Reserve Historical Society, which is a historical society for Cleveland and the area over here. And I had my degree in history. I was given tours, and I thought this would be a great thing to kind of put on my resume. I was, working there part-time and having a hard time finding something more permanent because I didn't have any experience. So I thought this would be something cool I can put on there. I helped build this museum from the ground up. So after a couple conversations with Brian, it turned out that a friend of his that he was going to be partnering with backed out. And basically on one phone call, Brian's just like, do you want to run the place for me? Never met him, talked to him about 2 times on the phone. And I figured I wasn't doing anything else, so sure, I'll run it for you. And, it's been great. Kind of our visions were kind of the same. And so it was, worked out really good. And so I've been running the place ever since, helped oversee the renovation of the house, and then, of course, of our new gift shop and everything. So it's been good for the past 7 years.
It's fantastic. As they say, the rest is history, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the movie for a minute. What are some of the scenes or some of the key elements of the house that people this is what they really want to see? Obviously, there's the iconic symbol of the lamp, but besides the lamp, is there anything in particular that jumps out at you? This is the thing that people are just like, enthralled with.
Yeah, one of the things that we really try and do, because we run tours, and one thing that we try to explain to people is that the interior shots weren't done here at the house. When people walk in, they'll see that the house is actually really kind of small compared to the way it looks out in the movie, and that was done on a soundstage. So what we've done is we've tried to recreate a larger soundstage back into a smaller house that, basically they used as a model for that. So one of the things that people obviously love is the leg lamp. Everybody needs to get their picture by the leg. It's like the perfect shot looking outside, especially when there's snow on the ground, and maybe even when it's snowing outside. You get a really good backdrop with the leg and the snow. It's almost kind of like the ending scene of the movie. But other things, we have in the house, people love to climb under the sink. The house we have totally interactive. We want people to come in. We want them to act out their favorite scene. So people can crawl under the sink like Randy did. and plead for the old man not to kill Ralphie for having a fight and swearing. We have replica hats that people can put on. We have a BB gun there so they can pretend that they're finding their BB gun in the corner like Ralphie did in the morning. We have, a blue ball and some other gifts so you can pretend you're opening gifts on Christmas morning. So you could also then go up onto the upstairs into the bathroom there. We have a decoder pin and a bar of soap so you can pretend you're getting your mouth washed out or sit on a toilet and pretend you're decoding your own secret message. So it's a really fun experience. We want people to come in, act out their favorite scene, just have a really fun time. And so that's what you can do over in the house. And then, for the people who love, movie history and, seeing artifacts, we do have all that stuff as well over across the street in our museum. We have props and costumes and behind-the-scenes photos that people can look at and enjoy and just have a fun time. And that's, pretty much what we're all about here.
AChristmasStoryHouse.com. It's in Cleveland, Ohio. You can check out information. They have ticket information. A ton of events, I assume, will continue year after year. It's a great way to remember just an amazing movie as we celebrate the 30th anniversary. All right, one last thing. Is there any particular scene or anything like that that's true to your heart that even to this day just puts a smile on your face?
Well, as I said, I always knew that the house was here even before it got renovated. So, when I watched the movie, the opening scene when they do the sweeping shot of the neighborhood and they kind of zoom in on the house, being that I've, been here since the renovation, seeing what it was and seeing what it's gone to and what we've done in the past 7 years, that's always just a great scene for me is, seeing that house as it was in the movie, sitting here right now and having people come visit. That's just a great shot.
All right, Steve, thank you so much for your time. Folks, we're going to be chasing after some of the actors. We already got some emails sent out for some of the cast members here as we try to celebrate the 30th anniversary of A Christmas Story. And, hey, put it on your calendars. If you're making a travel through the Midwest, going up there in Ohio, swing by. It's called AChristmasStoryHouse.com. Swing by there. They got a gift shop, tons of stuff online. If you can't make the trip, you're like me. I have Christmas Story, tons of Christmas Village stuff, and I have leg lamps and ornaments and stuff. My whole family's been brought up with this, so it's true to my heart as well. So, Steve, God bless and take care. Have a good holiday, and until I talk to you again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.